To build icosahedral symmetric fivefold polyhedra with rational surface face angles, you can use the PQR modular system, which I've worked on for about 25-30 years. Anyway, let's push it more toward 25. But there's the actual modules, which is in another. There's other videos, and then there's some, let's say, agglomerations or clusters of those modules, and then there's sub-assemblies. Then ultimately, those sub-assemblies build the actual polyhedra. There's a lot of relationships. So this is going to be on some sub-assemblies. There's actually 4 sub-assemblies. The 4 sub-assemblies are the star point tetrahedron, which you have right in front of you now. And then there's also the pentagonal based star point pyramid. And there is the icosa-cap. And lastly, there is the shallow tetrahedron. Along with tetrahedra M, or 4P, and tetrahedra O, which is 4R, that's pretty much the building blocks that the PQR modules make up. So let's just start with this star point tetrahedron. And as you can see, it's got an equilateral triangle base, and it's got 3 what I call star points because they're part of a 5-point star or a pentagram, and that's where that comes from. I can actually try to make one for you if you want. Well, it's going to be ugly. There's easier ways to do that. But anyway, I'm going to take the skins off of this now. Well, there's some of the skin off. I can just show that for quickies here. First of all, this is made up of an M tetrahedron, which is 4P modules, and an O tetrahedron, which is made of 4R modules. Those are the ones that are still shaded. That's here, and that's the this one here is the 4R or O tetrahedron, as you can see. And then we have the 4P or M tetrahedron. I know I keep repeating both, but I'm trying to get it worked in. Okay, so what's left? Well, it happens to be a half or 1/2 of a N tetrahedron or 2Q modules plus 2R modules or 1/2 of an O tetrahedron, but this has been scaled by the golden proportion to the next smaller size. And so here I'm going to illustrate the face, the front, one of the faces of the N tetrahedron, or those are 2Q modules right there. And I could make the rest of that if I lowered that. I just want to show you that. Well, I'm not good at working on the fly, am I? Getting there, getting better. Got to get the aim. And what I'm trying to show here is that that's a half of a N tetrahedron or a 4Q, and there's only 2 Q's, and here's the 2 Q's. This right here, that part there, and then this part over on this side is the other half of it. You can see that side, and then there's this side here. And that would be, so you get this side or this side. That's the halfway point. So we'll take that out. And then lastly, I said that there was 2R modules, which are smaller, scaled by the golden proportion, or 1/1.618 smaller, which is equivalent to 0.618. They're irrational numbers that I'm rounding off. But here's the 2R, pardon me. That is probably the differential part where this works, and it's not being, I don't know if it's ever been published. I'd like to see it. This is the difference maker, is this ability to modularize and then scale by the golden proportion or golden mean. That is the difference. Now, it could be considered to be breaking rules of modularization, but when it works so well, you might want to change the rules. Okay, so that's your star point tetrahedron. Then we'll go to the pentagonal based pyramid with the star points. And you can see the star points, and there's your pentagon for a base. Now, this is made up of 4 P modules or an M module, and again, it's made up of 2 N tetrahedron that are cut in half plus 2 O tetrahedron that are cut in half, and those are on both sides. So firstly, let's show you the M tetrahedron. That's this middle part here. And there's equilateral triangles on the other 2 sides of the M. That's equal to 4P. So if we get rid of that, we have what's left are these. I've taken the skins off and I've left the skeletal frame, but what you have is these equilateral triangle parts, and that is part of those Q, the 4Q, or in this case they're halved. I'm just going to try to get rid of those lines if I can, just to make it easier. Okay, now, like I've showed you just recently, that this, up from this point, well, it's actually not this little part, but just from here, here, and here, that is your 1/2 of the N tetrahedron. There's 2 of them. There's one on this side, and there's one on this side. And then attached to that are these 2 lesser sized R modules, just like we had in the model of the star point tetrahedron. In fact, we can make a star point tetrahedron quite quickly to kind of just show you that there's a relationship right here that I can make the star point tetrahedron anyway. And that shows that orientation of the 2Q and the 2R with the equilateral triangle base being this here. That is your star point tetrahedron. So there's a relationship between the pentagonal based star point pyramid and the star point tetrahedron. Okay, hopefully you followed that. I know there's a bunch of different ways to describe this. Anyway, I have the skin there. So here again is the skeletal frame. This blue plane is delineating the halfway cut slicing of the N tetrahedron, and then this is showing a halfway slicing of the next size down, smaller, spy-scaled O tetrahedron. This is equivalent to 2R here, and this part is equivalent to 2Q, so there's one on each side, so there's a 4Q and a 4R to the next lower size, plus a 4P. That equals 8 E modules of one size and 4 of the next size down, which means powered by 3. But we won't get into that now. Okay, now lastly is the star point, oh, pardon me, said it wrong. It's the icosa-cap. That's part of an icosahedron. And I could demonstrate that quickly. I believe I can get the right, I think that's the right spot. So we'll go call that the, no, I don't want to look at it, but okay, we'll just do that anyway. We'll just quickly make an icosahedron out of that. And that's a cap, this pentagonal slicing, pentagonal faced slicing right here. I'm delineating the points. That slices off, making what they call an icosa-cap. Who's they? Well, people do. Okay, no real rationale there. Okay, I kind of lost my center point or my origin rotation point, but that's okay. Here we have the surface of the icosahedron. We're going to peel off the skins of the icosahedron. Now, this is kind of like a nice symmetric thing, and I left it this way. I kind of wanted to show the pentagonal, pentagram symmetry and stuff, but in reality, if I put, let me see if I can back that up. If I put, it never lets you do that. Okay, I'm going to put two of these triangles back on to try to show best I can that that is actually a 4Q or N tetrahedra right there, and then I could have another one here. And so it kind of demonstrates that there's this inside, there's a 4R or a O tetrahedra of the next size down. That's kind of the whole point of that. It probably won't work, but anyway, these are two 4Q modules. I just wanted to show that then this last part would be made up of, once again, if you remember, the 2Q and the 2R, the next lesser size, and then plus there would also be a 4R of the same size as the 2Q. Nonetheless, there's other ways you can subdivide this, and I just wanted to show that in effect these tetrahedra here are all 4Rs or O's, and I'm going to like to show how inside there is this pentagonal pyramid, which we talked about before, and these are resting against it. And as you can see, this panel here, if you had all 5 of these panels, well, I should take them all off, they all fold up to that pyramid. You can kind of imagine that. You can imagine that these 5 all fold up to this apex here, making that pyramid, which is kind of fun. And that with that, I'll end the video. Sorry, I got a little long. Bye.